Hello engineers, and welcome back. Coming up in this episode, we'll be taking survival to the next level with a rooftop greenhouse, a fully working water tower, and even some small grid tricks blended into our large grid base. All in vanilla! So grab your kelp crisps, best if you pretend they're bacon, and wash it down with an ice-cold Clang Cola. Episode 2 starts now.
Hello everybody and welcome to my Apex Vanilla Survival Series. So we got quite a bit to do today. We're going to start working on our farming. We're actually going to be building us a rooftop farm or rooftop garden that we can actually set up and look out along the land here. So we're going to get working on that. So the way this is going to work is down here where I'm at is going to be more of our home area. So we're going to have our bedroom, our kitchen, living room, all that stuff. That's going to be right here. We're going to have a separate refinery and assembler spot. We're going to have a separate workshop. So we're going to have a couple buildings kind of spread around this hilltop here. But I want to go ahead and get the food stuff going on first because we don't want to start starving here. But as you notice, the sun has been up for a little bit. I did make a iron run, and then the sun came up while I was in the middle of that. So that's why we got all this racket going on back this way. But let's go ahead and start working on our rooftop farm here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be relocating this tower. We're going to have one on either end of the base. So we're going to go longer than what we are right now. And I'm just going to be using steel plate for that, just to get it framed up, but we'll come back and redo the floors later when we work on the downstairs. Again, this is more going to be working on the upstairs part. I'm going to get some stuff go ahead and queued up so we can get it ready for when we start building. Now I have had some wolves come and attack me during the night, so we do have a little bit more meat, and I'm probably going to need to eat some more here real quick. Grab some of that. So food-wise, I'm not too worried right now. We got algae down here. We got some kelp crisp. We got 8 cooked food right now. We got some more raw food we can go ahead and cook. What I'm just going to do is come in here and have it queue up 100. So anytime I get raw food, it'll automatically cook it for us. Because nothing in here that I've seen uses raw meat. Everything I see is supposed to be cooked, so I'm not too worried about it cooking it right away. We're going to keep the base as wide as it is, but we're going to go longer. So right now we're 7 wide with a center line, so we need to go 13 blocks long. Right now we're 8. We need to go another 5, so we're going to go 2 this way and then 3 this way. Just fill this in for now. Again, we'll come back and redo the floor later. I just want to kind of get the foundation going. We're also going to be using this back wall over here. I'm not too worried about this conveyor anymore. Rid of it for now. This whole line down the middle is probably going to get moved too. Again, we'll worry about that when we work on the downstairs part. Okay, so first we're going to go up 2 blocks from here. So we're going to come over here to this edge and go up 2. Actually going to go out 1 more because the towers are going to be out from the side of the building here. So we're going to go 2 up. So the main blocks that we're going to use right now is we're going to need the farming blocks. Is going to be right here in the food processor ones. We're going to need conveyor junctions and conveyors. And we're going to need connectors. So the first thing we're going to put right here is going to be a connector. We're going to put a small grid connector right here like this. And we're going to put another one over here on this side like this. And then the tower is going to come up back here. Our little rooftop area is going to be 2 blocks high. And we're going to go up another 4. We're going to go 1 more, and then we're going to put our junction. So we're actually going to go higher than what we did with those, which won't hurt much of anything. Now I'm not going to be moving the ones that are over there until after at night, so I can go ahead and get as much algae up as I can. But we'll go ahead and have everything set up so once nighttime comes, we can just start welding. So we'll just grind one down, weld the other one, and just keep going that way. That's how this tower is going to go. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, but just a little bit different. But we're not going to have a conveyor over here. You can have the option to add it later, but we're just going to have a junction right here. Curved junction right here. And then we're going to go up R2. Oh, I forgot to get food. So that's where that tower is going to go. I'm not going to build the end of that one until I take this one down so we're not blocking the wind. We're not gaining a lot of wind power right now. Let me go ahead and grab me my food I forgot to grab. So this floor down here is going to be half blocks. Don't look more like this. So then we'll go ahead and build our full blocks down here. Along the edge. Again, all this could change depending on how I want the bottom part to look. The same thing over here. And we forgot to add our connector over here. So we're going to go ahead and add our half blocks down here. So we can get this part of the roof done. Have us a little bit of floor up there to walk on and to put our next blocks we're going to do. We're going to have to put stairs and everything up here later. Now we're going to go back to our conveyors to where we're going to put our farm plots in. So our connector is right here. We're going to leave a walkway that goes two that way. And then we're going to put these like this. One here, one here, one here, there, there, there. So we're going to have quite a few farms up here. And then our farm plots are going to go on top of these. This. We're going to be putting catwalk down here as our flooring. And I'm putting it upside down for a reason. And we'll get into that here in a little bit once we get all this built up. Again, some of this is going to be temporary. I'm going to have to break some of it down just to make everything work right. But I'm just trying to get as much build up as I can right now. And then we're going to go and build up the other stuff. And then we're just going to have regular wall blocks around this edge. Alright, so this is where the flooring is going to be. Again, a lot of this is just temporary. But let me go ahead and start building up our farm plots here. Probably going to need to do another iron run. I don't know if I'm going to have enough iron for all of this. I'll get what I can welded up here. Now that I got those done, we need to go ahead and do these conveyors down here. Alright, so it looks like we're out of iron. I got a lot of these already welded up here. Still got a ways to go. So let me go make an iron run, and then we'll start, hopefully get the rest of these finished up here. These are the farm plots. We'll be able to put our seeds in it once we get water provided to it. And water is going to be a main big key to trying to make sure we have enough of, because if we run out of water, the plants will die. So we're going to have to start farming ice. But the way that I'm going to have this set up is it's all the water and everything in here is going to be self-contained. So we don't have to worry about the base stealing our ice or anything. So as long as we have the water tower filled with ice, then we shouldn't have any problem with the water. I'll probably try to put some safeguards onto the water tower too, or see if I can, but I'll worry about those later. But let's go ahead and go get us some iron, and then we can finish building this up. Alright, so I think the algae farms aren't doing anything anymore, so we'll go ahead and start tearing everything down and switching it over. Oh, found a hole. I did fix the floors a little bit. So we just have the grates here in the middle, and then we have just blocks on the other sides. Again, I'll we'll get to all that while all this is like this in a minute. Let's go ahead and move this tower over at least. And then we'll need to start working on our water tower. So we can start bringing water in, and then we can start planting the plants. Alright, so I got that tower moved over. Everything's running good. Everything's all piped up all the way down to here. This tower has already been started. I've got the parts being processed for it. I have this cargo container up here just temporarily, because it's not going to stay over here, since this is going to be where we're going to be looking out to. It might get moved somewhere back here on the back, since this is going to be the back wall. But now I'm going to go ahead and wait for that to get processed up. I might go make an ice run and a silicon run. I don't know how much silicon and nickel we have left, but since it's dark, it's better to go do the mining and stuff then. That way I can actually build during the daylight, be able to see. Let's see what we have in here. We got 2.75k of silicon, plus a little bit more down here. Nickel, we're definitely going to need some more nickel, not worried about the cobalt. We got lots of iron, and it's still being processed. No, the refinery is done. Did I get everything out of... Yeah, pretty sure I did. That refined it pretty quickly. Usually it's been going a lot slower. So yeah, definitely going to need nickel. Silicon we might be okay with, but I might grab some down there, but we're definitely going to need some more ice so we can start making our water and everything. So again, since it's dark, I'm going to go ahead and go work on mining that stuff, and then hopefully in the morning I'll have enough of the parts and everything we need that we can finish building our little farm on the roof. Alright, sun's coming up, so start building our water tower. I'm going to put it over here on this tower over here. But first, we have an unknown signal that's only 200 meters of space. Let's go ahead and grab that. Maybe find something good in here. We got a meal pack, banana bee. Unknown effects, not craftable. Okay, that's discerning. Got some mushroom spores. And we got a button. Oh shit. We got a badger grinder. Yippee. We'll just go ahead and grind this down, and then we'll start working on our water tower. So as you can see, we got both of our wind turbine and algae farms up. I have some steps that'll go down, so this is where the steps are going to go. So now we have access to the top floor. Now we don't have access to these algae farms yet. We're going to work on that later, but I want to go ahead and get the food stuff going. But we got lots of materials queued up, so we shouldn't have to hopefully be building or trying to get materials after we build this. I started getting the windows up. That's going to go around here. Again, this is going to be temporary. We'll probably move this back here in this corner. Or further back this way. We might move it back here into this corner or somewhere over in this direction. And then you can see the back wall is starting to be built up also. Like I said, let's go ahead and get our water tower up and going. I need to get the blocks I need for it. So the water tower is going to come off the back of here. We're going to have our windows go up. In fact, let me go ahead and put these windows how they're going to go on this side. That way I can actually set the water tower at the right height. And this should be set at the right height. We might need to bring our towers up one more. So I keep forgetting that this one's actually one block lower. So it's going to be right at the top of the water tower. But we might bring the water tower one more lower too. Just bring the bottom of the water tower here. The water tower is going to be 4 blocks high. So first we're going to go ahead. Need some interior plate. So we can set up our truss pillars. That's what's going to be one of the main things that holds the tower up. We're going to have both of these come out like this. But these are going to be the brackets that's going to mount the water tower to our tower here. Now we're going to go ahead and go out one on both sides. So that'll pull the tower out 1 full block. We're going to bring it out one more. I'm gonna put in another one of these. So this is gonna be the outside of it. So this should keep the tower one block away from here. I don't want to push up against it to kind of merge into it. So this is going to give that one block. Plus it's going to help with our hoses when we start doing those. And we're going to go ahead and do another one of these. Both sides. It's going to be the center of the tower. We're just going to put regular blocks here on either side like this. Then the irrigation system is going to go right here in the middle like this. Make sure the conveyor is on the bottom. So you got two conveyors on one side, one on the bottom. So they'll go right there in the middle. And put a connector on the bottom. So then let's build these up real quick. So the irrigation system here, this is what's going to convert the ice over to water. Now the great thing about this is it will run through small conveyors, even small conveyors like this. So this is why I've had it set up this way, and it's all going to be piped in just on the top here. We are going to throw a pipe down here so we can add ice in if we need to. But all that's going to be piped in this way, and then we'll just finish putting these blocks in. So we'll just round it out like this. Right, and then, so this is how the tower is going to look on the side here. Again, everything is put into the center of it, so it's actually all hidden. So this is a good way to hide the irrigation system. So one of the good things is you can also put this, build this up like in the middle of a field. You can put hide everything inside of it. You can actually put like a wind turbine on top to give it the power that it needs. You can even hide a battery in on the top too, up here in this block, and then put a wind turbine on top of it. So you can have a farm off and not connected to your base with power and everything kind of hidden up in this little area. And then if you're using the water mod and you have it just a standalone in the field, you bring the pipe down, put another connector where the ground's gonna go, and then you drill a hole underneath that, and then you run a pipe all the way down to the water with the collector, and then you're pulling up the water or the ice for the collector, and you have unlimited water. So that's a couple of ways you can actually make this work and look a whole lot better than just that block standing out by itself, or trying to hide it on a base, or if you're trying to do a farm in the middle of a field. This is a good way to hide it also without having to run piping and buildings and stuff like that. So I'm going to have a couple of these models up. I'm going to work on some of them. So if you don't want to have to build all this, especially once we start getting into the connector right here, building the pipe out, already have it all set up. So you should just be able to grab it, blueprint it, and bring it out. So I'll have quite a few versions of that, and I can also build one that's made for the water mod, where I'll have the connector going down, and you just have to drive it all the way down into the water. If you are interested in anything like that, let me know. But we are going to add more detail to this also. But I'm going to go ahead and weld it all up, and then we'll get the piping connected so we can start getting our plants planted, and then we'll come back and do all the detailing stuff. So just be a minute while I weld all this up for you. Alright, now that we got the supports all up for the water tank, again, I'm going to come through and actually do some more designing on this to make it look a little bit better. But now let's go ahead and run the hose down here. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. One is you could just take blocks like this, kind of line them up like this, and then put a connector on top of here and kind of connect them. One thing that you do need to do no matter which way you do it is turn off the strength. Because the strength is going to kind of give a magnet and pull this away from this block. For this to work, you want this to be as close to that connector as possible. So you can always kind of fidget that way. That one actually came out pretty well. You can weld this up, connect it, and then connect it to there. But if you really want to get a really good connection, you can do a hinge. This will work with a hinge or a rotor. A rotor will be good if you're trying to adjust the height. So if you want to move the block up or down a little bit easier, you can use a rotor because you got the displacement, especially if you're going this way. Or you can use a hinge. So you can put a hinge down here or have a hinge pointing that way, whatever way you want to connect to that connector. Now, because I have build vision, I can just come up here, add small head. So I'll add the small head there. And it's going to go straight up to there. So this head is completely lined up with the center of that block. So that's how what makes this and a rotor perfect, because the rotor is also set perfectly in line with that one. We'll go ahead and turn on our hinge locks. We don't have to worry about building this hinge up. Then we'll take our small conveyor blocks, just pipe them up like this. And then we're going to put us a connector up here. And I'm going to use this connector just so I can add more detail to it around it. We'll weld this up. Make sure we turn the strength off on this. And then this will actually be completely in line with this one too. So we just drill out this little piece right here, put on a corner piece, and then drive it straight into here. So we'll have a perfect, or very close to perfect, connection right here. But before I do that, I'm going to add some detailing around the tank. I'm going to put on some of the beam blocks down here. We'll go with the end here around it like this. Now I haven't connected that connector up yet, so I can adjust this if I need to. But now I can add more blocks here without it colliding with anything. And then the way to know how these blocks are, 5 small blocks make up for 1 big block. So since this one's in the middle, 2 blocks out, so right here, that's the end of that block. 2 blocks out, that's the end of that block. It's not 100% perfect, and sometimes it won't mash up right. So you see right here, I can't get that block in. We can, if we had the rotor, we can actually bring it down some and then stick it in and then push the rotor back up. So let me show you how that one works. So in a case like this where we want to fine tune it closer to this, the rotor would be the more better way to do it. So we'll grind these down real quick and I'll show you the rotor way. We'll put us a rotor here, do like we did last time, take that out. Come in here, add small head. Now again, if you don't have build vision, you can go put in a button and go into that way. You could go into one of the computers, anything that has a little switch on the front that you can get into, you can do the same thing with it. But build vision does make that a lot easier. So we'll go ahead and add our conveyors again. And you notice this time we have a little bit more room up here. So we're not completely against the top of that. So then we can add our beam blocks. So now you notice I can stick these blocks in like this. Now we can keep that there, lock it down, because that connector is close enough to connect to that. But then you're going to get an offset when you come down here. So it's going to be lower and won't line up completely with that one. So if you're not worried about that, you could keep it like that. But I want it to line up a little bit more. So I'm actually going to bring these blocks out one more like this, just to give us a little bit more room. But because these curved blocks are on the top, you won't have too much of a collision chance as you would with that one. Fuel. And again, we'll come in here to build vision. Fuel build vision critical. Makes it easier. And then you just hit the displacement. Now we can bring it up. We can put it all the way up there like that, but I like to put it down a little bit. So you notice there, part of the block right there, the edge is clipping through. So I just bring it down just a hair, so that's even with that. Now it depends on how you want to put this or design this around. So I'm going to keep it on the rotor here while I do the designing with the small blocks around the tank here. So I've been working all night. I finally got the water tower all set up. So we got everything all piped up. So as you can tell, everything is green. Connector is green. Going back this way, we got a junction right here. I'll need to fix this a little bit here, but comes back here. This connector should be green. Nope. Turn this one on. Alright, that one's green. Come back up this way. This connector is green. And then we come down here to this connector, which isn't green, but this line is green. So that means this connector is connected. And this is where we can load up ice. So that's how the water system is going to work. I might add some more lights and a little bit more stuff here and there as we go on, but I like how adding the small grid here with the large grid, it adds a little bit more detail to it, so it's just not a plain weird looking block or tank right here. So I had all these extra blocks. I'm going to put some lights on the front too, like I did right here. So these are small grid lights, so they're not going to be very bright, but
Fuel low.
it should make everything look pretty neat. I can add more lights going along here. And again, we got a little bit more detail around the connector right here. Just like up there, I got a little bit more detail around that connector. Of course, we got the steel beams going all around there with the platform. So if we come upstairs here, we need to start adding in our windows to enclose the upstairs up. And we need to start doing our piping down through here. So for this piping, we pretty much do the same thing that we did over there, but we'll actually use a hinge for this one since we don't need to fine tune a lot of it. So we're gonna take out these blocks right here. That's why I was saying these are gonna be temporary. Go ahead and add our hinge. We'll just add it right here to this block. And then here we just have to move the limits. We'll move it to 90. Go ahead and lock that. And of course, add our blocks like we did on the other side. We'll go ahead and adjust our stuff here. Alright, so that's locked. So that should stay. So for this, we might bring it up a block. This. Then we'll bring it down, coming down this way. We'll do our 2 blocks like that. And then put our conveyors in here. There we go. So now we should be aligned that way. Should be aligned that way. Weld these up, make sure these are turned off. Everything should line up now since we have this in pretty much where it's supposed to be. So I'll run that and then we'll get back to you after I get rid of these wolves. Alright, it's morning time here. I've been working on the base some more. I actually had to build a bigger assembler so I can get these parts built up a little bit quicker. I just had to make a silicon run. We got all this glass to build and I ran out of silicon. But now I got a full load of silicon ready to be loaded up, and we should be able to finish the glass and finish the top part. But we'll come up here and I'll show you what I've been doing. Gotta get parts here. So I took the food processor, I moved it up here to the top. So now all the algae from our farms here and all the rest of the farm stuff will be all connected. So we just have to come up here if we want to make any food or anything like that. I don't think that's going to be a big problem. We do have that connector that's down here on the ground back here. That one right there. So we can always, if there's anything we need real quick, we can run to that one also. Still got ice up in our tank up in here. So we're good with that. We can actually start planting our plants real quick. So we'll need to make us some seeds. So to make us seeds, we'll go into production. Come over here to the harvesting. So we have mushrooms and we have fruit. So we can go ahead and make a couple of seeds of each. And then we'll just pop them out from right here. So we got mushroom spores and we got fruit seeds. So now all we do is we can come up to one of the planters. You'll hit F. So bring up the farm plot screen here. So you can see our water level is high. So we'll go ahead and hit what we want to plant. Just hit plant. Notice they pop up. And we'll just do this to all of them going down the row here. Now, it's very critical to make sure you keep an eye on your ice. We should have more than enough ice to cover all this. But the ice does go pretty quickly. I had about 1K of ice for 6 planters at one point, and the mushrooms, since they grow quicker, they were fine. but the apples here, they actually didn't make it. So if you do run out of water, you can kill the plants. If you are on a planet that doesn't have oxygen and you're not in an enclosed area, that will also kill the plants. So they're really, I like the mechanics and how they do all that. We have our piping already set up since we do have water going to everything. So now I just need to finish welding all this up. The mushrooms usually take about, I think, about 12 minutes. And then the apples, the fruit, they take about 20 minutes. So probably have those up and ready by the time I'm done fixing all this up. So let me go ahead and keep welding this up, and then we'll see what our plants look like. Alright, we're still working on all this. I actually went and made a bigger refinery because it's taken forever to refine the silicon to make the glass for this. And then I had to make a couple more iron runs. We got the floor all done. I got a nice light coming through the floor. You might add some more going back this way. But because we have the small grid down there, we can actually put small grid lights through there and make it come through the floor and look a little bit better. Again, we're working on the windows. We got a lot of this front half up, and it has a good view, especially once we get that refinery out of the way. Over here next to all the noise. This block actually fits in well with these windows. So it's just a little bit bigger than the windows, so it worked out that way, especially with the detail on the back. I do like that. And then we're going to have these windows back here to fill in the half block that we have here, but we still have curved windows on top. So I think this will make a nice, good garden. We can put couches and chairs and stuff in here too. But right now I'm just more worried about the windows. And then of course we still have our lights on the outside. I might add more lights and more detail to this as we go on. But that'll probably be a lot more off-screen stuff. But we could go ahead and harvest our plants. They're all ready. So all we do is go up to and hit F. Let's come up and harvest all these. So these took 35 minutes. I don't know what the difference is. The last time I did them, they took about 20 minutes. So I don't know if it's the type of environment you're in or if it's the water or what it is. These took 12 minutes. They took 12 minutes last time, so that's about right. But food-wise, we're actually doing really good. We have lots of algae in here. So we have 108 already in our food processor, and then we have another 12 here from each of the farms. So algae crisp should do really well here. Got more apples, more mushrooms. I do again need to go out and look for some wheat and some vegetables. Then we can start making some good meals that will last a lot better. We keep getting wolves. We're actually getting big packs now. I've gotten 3, and they're coming regularly. So I think the longer you stay in the game, the more they'll come out. Should give us our 10, and we can go ahead and plant these back, and then I'll keep working on the glass and the windows. Hopefully this stuff is being refined a whole lot quicker now. Let's see what our big refinery is doing. So it's doing the basics, still doing the silicon. We got lots of iron now. Our assembler is doing the glass. Let's go ahead and plant these seeds, and I'll keep building up our base here. Hopefully by daylight we should have everything back up and running again. Alright, it's raining here. The sun is starting to come up. Oh, we have an unknown signal that way. But let's go ahead and show you what this looks like. Here's it more at a night or a stormy, cloudy day. So I think it came out pretty well. I'm still going to add some more detail and stuff to it. But this is pretty much the frame and everything how I want it to look. The water tower came out pretty well. Again, I like incorporating the small grids in it like that. And then we got quite a few connection points. So we got it connected there, connected on the bottom, and connected down here. And then we can also use mag plates in some spots if we want to kind of tie it in and make it a little bit more secure. But this seems to work out fine just like this. There's no weird forces, no weird sounds, anything like that. And again, this is a working tower, a water tower, since we have the irrigation system inside of it. So we can unload and unload from down here. We actually got two sides we can do it. And then we can always make a connector up if we want to make a truck that's just for ice. So we can technically make some type of water truck that goes and pumps water from a lake. So if we find a ice lake around here somewhere and then come and have it and unload the water into this, technically ice, and then that'll suck the ice up and everything. So that's one way we can kind of play that out. But again, the detail and everything I got here into this, I think it still looks really well. And then we have our towers here. Oh, so the sun's coming up with our algae plants in it. So we have 6 algae plants, 6 wind turbines. This has given us more than enough power. I've needed to run the basic assembler, the regular assembler, the basic refinery, the regular refinery, without even having any ports on it. And then we're running all the extra little equipment around here, charging our rover up. So we're doing good with power, I think. With these algae farms here, we're getting about 12 each from them per day. So that's not that bad either. We actually have a whole lot in surplus now. And then we're getting all the wools and stuff. So food is doing really well. And you can see inside the farm here, we have 10 farm plots. But let's go ahead and take our walk up. Now again, this floor is not done yet. This is where we're going to have our house. So we're going to have our bedrooms, our living room, kitchen, all kinds of stuff like that. I might bring one of these down, probably this one down here, and then kind of have it hooked up so we can get to the food from down here. So this will probably be where our kitchen's going to go. Now it would be neat if the actual kitchen block can be connected up to this and or be considered a food processor. So let's turn our lights off and come up here. I know the sun's coming up, but I got green lights set up all through here. Green lights down here on the floor with the piping. Again, I think this adds a little bit more extra detail that you normally don't see, or that I haven't really seen. And again, all that is piped up, all of it works. As you can tell, our plants have water in it, and we're getting algae coming from and to from the food processor here on the side. And like I mentioned before, the design of the food processor, how it has the angles, it fits these windows pretty well. Like, it actually fits it really well. It's like it's made to be right there. We got couches coming all around. Storm's coming down, but the sun's coming up, so we got great views of the sun. Again, completely views all the way around us. That's actually a really great view of the sun coming up right there over the mountains. And over here we got our couches, over here with our water tank over here to the side. So I think this came out pretty well. Again, just a little bit more decoration or a little bit more detail we can add into this, but this is pretty much going to be done for now. We're going to start working on our next projects on the next video. So this is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Next time we're probably going to start working on our refinery and assembly shops, and we're going to have to work on getting some mines automated. I don't think I'm going to be making flying mining machines. I think I'm going to actually make an automated mine. I've done them before, and I've always enjoyed doing it that way. It adds an extra little building that you have to go to and from, and it doesn't add big holes in the middle of your ground, so you don't have to worry about falling into. Again, all this is done in vanilla. The only mods I have are quality of life. So everything I've done in here you can do on your own here on PC or on console. Just some of the steps might take a little bit longer if you don't have the build version. But again, everything else can be done. But again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see us next time. And don't forget to check out my scrap survival run I'm running with the Apex and food and everything in that too. So don't forget to check that out, and we'll see you next time.
And that wraps up another day of survival engineering. Tonight's special, a big plate of spaghetti. Don't forget to add the meatballs we still don't have. Until next time, this is Woby, signing off.